Hey guys, Ben and Greg from SF Possibilities here, just with another Exploring Possibilities video for you. So today we're going to consider what to do or how to navigate sessions when an issue is out of your client's control. So what to do when something is out of your client's control. And Greg's going to share a quick story from his own sort of situation around that and some of the difficulties around it, and then maybe we'll both share a possibility for exploring that, for navigating it. Over to you.
Thank you. And hopefully I can do it without falling over
No,
and
we'll
walk
walk
up
up
some
some
steps.
High steps here.
So this is inspired because I'm in the process of moving house, and we are incredibly close to finalizing everything and setting dates and all that fun stuff. But we're not there yet, and there's absolutely nothing else I could be doing, or my wife could be doing, or my children could be doing to change the situation or make it any better. So that's kind of what's inspired the thoughts around this, because there are often those times when we talk with people where there is nothing else they can do to change external circumstances. So where do you go with that? And I think current thinking, I don't know, it's the things that Ben and I have thought of recently. Well, I'll tell you a bit what I thought about. It's that bit of having to acknowledge that. Like, we don't want to give people that sense of false hope and saying, oh, this is going to be brilliant and, you can change everything in the world, because sadly you can't. But I suppose it's that idea of, is it about, how would you know you're managing in the best possible way despite all of that, in a way that's good for you, in a way that's good for your family, and good for your work and all of those different things. How would you know you're doing that? Because those are the things that we will have more influence over. Or even, how would you know you're doing everything you can to influence those things? How would you know you've gotten to that point where you've done everything you can? And what would that lead to for you? So some ways of thinking, but that focus mainly around, how would you know you're still living in a way, there's a bird, how would you know you're still living in a way that you want to be living despite those challenges in that context? So those are my thoughts. I'm going to hand you back to Ben, see what he thinks.
Great stuff. So in addition to that, Greg talking about the, focusing on how people will manage with certain scenarios. Another way of looking at it that I've found helpful for some clients is to look at sort of multiple possible preferred futures. So say, for example, someone is waiting for the outcome of a job interview. So they've done the job interview and the decision is out of their control. They don't. You can do sort of multiple preferred futures where you say, well, let's look at scenario A. Okay, so scenario A happens in that example. They don't get offered the job, or they get offered a part-time position or something. And then using the questions, how would you know that you were making the most of that scenario? Or how would you know that you were, at your best moving forward with that scenario, making the most of it? And then scenario B, looking at the next scenario, how would you know you were making the most of that? And I've used this in multiple situations where something is out of the client's control. So it might be exam results, it might be job interviews, it might be something going on with the family, and you can sort of actually just have multiple conversations, multiple preferred futures, and go, okay, so if scenario A happens, how would you know that you were making the most of that situation? And if scenario B happens, how would you know that you were making the most of that one? How would you know you were at your best in scenario A? How would you know that you were at your best in scenario B? So there's a couple of different thoughts on how to respond, how to navigate conversations when something is just outside of your client's control. Hope that was helpful, guys, and we look forward to seeing you at the next catch-up event. Take care.
See you guys.